Hello Noble Knitter, it's Nancy Queen, and I'm going to show you all of the gorgeous projects you've been knitting over the past year. They're your favorite projects you've submitted to me, so let's dive right in. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and click the bell to get notified every time I post. Over the past year, we haven't been able to show off our knitting in very many places. We used to be able to show it off when we'd go out in public, to our knitting groups, at our local yarn store, and now we don't have that ability. All this work you've put into these gorgeous projects and no way to show them. So a couple months ago, I asked my email list to email me a picture of the favorite project they've knitted over the past year. And guess what? I got hundreds and hundreds of responses. So much so that I was completely overwhelmed. I actually needed to take a few weeks to figure out what I was going to do with all of these projects. So I ended up categorizing them: shawls, Christmas knitting, crochet projects, and now I'm going to show you what you've been knitting over the past year. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to take a look at all of the projects. I think there were 35 to 38 projects that you sent me just in shawls alone. So what I want you to do is sit back, pick up your favorite knitting project, listen, watch, and see what your friends are knitting. Feel free to leave comments for them in the comments section below, and of course give it a thumbs up. And let's take a look. This first project comes from Nikki Ogden. It's called the Spread Your Wings Shawl. And what she loves about it is she says that it was an intricate yet uncomplicated project with a variety of techniques that kept it interesting. It's a gorgeous project. And I have to say, all of the projects you're going to see today are really beautiful. And what I really love is that they're at a variety of skill levels. We have from beginner to really expert designs. They're in no particular order. So I really want you to enjoy what you're seeing here. The next project is from CAROLYN ELLIS. It's the Casapinka MIXOLOGY shawl. This is her work in progress. And she said she loved the fun colors and easy pattern. Great project. Next one is from Meriel Stein. She said she just got back into knitting, and she actually knitted projects throughout the past year, and the projects are kind of tied to life events. In fact, this one is what she knitted during the World Series. And she had another project that was from the second impeachment trial that she knitted. Here's one from Trina Mell. In fact, she loved this project so much she made two of them. She did the SLIPSTRAVAGANZA shawl from Stephen West. This was a mystery knit along that came out last. She said she loves knitting something with the knowledge that she's doing it correctly, because we don't need any more failed attempts at the moment. So she loved the project so much she knitted these two, and they're absolutely stunning. And this SLIPSTRAVAGANZA shawl was created by Diane Goldman, and she loves knitting this pattern from Stephen West. She thinks he's a genius, and I have to agree with her. His designs are over the top, absolutely fun to knit. This SLIPSTRAVAGANZA shawl is from Wendy RADDING, and she said it was her favorite because it was so different from anything else she's made, and it was challenging. Ruth STALCUP made this reader's shawl. Her daughter lives in Michigan while she lives in Maryland. So while she was knitting, she pictured her daughter wearing it on her shoulders to keep her warm as she reads. That's such a great thought, to have the person in your mind while you're knitting, and it just brings you closer to someone you care about even when they're so far away. Vivian DeBoer created the Zaber shawl. This is one of my designs, and on all of these projects I'll provide a link to my website so you can see all of the projects that actually listed the name. If I have the info, I will be providing it for you. Anyway, she loved knitting this Zaber shawl because it was an easy and mindless shawl to knit. Now this very unique shawl comes from CAROLYN OXER. It's called Early Morning Rain. She knitted this, and she's knitting with us from Australia, and she said it was a joy to knit. She just blocked it. She's adding beads to the tassels, and she said she's going to be knitting a lot more of this shawl. Now Kathy MOULTON is a member of the NobleKnits University, and she made this shawl in my shawl boot camp. This is called the Transcendent shawl. She said it was one of her favorite projects of the past year because she never made a ruffle before, and it was the most stitches she's ever knitted in a row. It had 800 stitches in the row, so you're not doing too many of those, but it is a lot to take on when you haven't done it before, but it's something everyone needs to try. Now, Kathy Keck wowed me with this beaded shawl. It's called the Capelet shawl. It was knit in linen with beads. Here's the photo of it blocked and then finished. And she was worried because she thought it wouldn't work with the dropped stitches. They were kind of drop and run, and she thought it's not going to work out. But it did. She followed the directions, and the shawl, as you can see, worked out beautifully. Next, we have this Rusk shawl was knitted by Leslie Scarborough. She loved the leaf design, the bulky yarn, and it's her favorite colorway from Malabrigo. This is another one of my patterns, and it was knitted by Barbara Liao. She enjoyed knitting this easy shawl several times, and she knitted it as gifts for others. Okay, this is a really interesting shawl. This is called the Sunshine shawl, knitted by C&G Babcock. She chose the calmer colors in the shawl you see here for a guild challenge. It's an easy knit with a dramatic result, as you can see here, and I would really love to know more about this guild challenge. That might be something that we could do here for everyone. Next, we have the Dreamy Caramel Stripe. This was knitted by Julie Farnsworth-Ritz, and she said she loved how the colors and patterns merged in this project, and I have to agree, it's absolutely stunning. And the color choices, the blue and brown, are really beautiful together. Jen 1007 created this Mosaic Shawl, and she said it was a great way to do color work, but simple and easy to knit and very relaxing. Now, this lovely lady is featuring a capelet she knitted, and it's Stephanie Karsten. She said she loves the ability to make creative color choices. The capelet is warm, but not oppressively so, and it allows her to move easily when she's wearing it. Suzanne Watson submitted this shawl in a ball. She said it's a one-ball project. It took her about 7 months to knit, and she's giving it to her mother-in-law for a birthday present, and she's looking for 2 tassels to sew to the ends. If you haven't found tassels yet, you could make your own tassels and attach them to the shawl, and they will coordinate. So if you have any leftover yarn, I would just wrap the yarn around my fingers a bunch of times, tie it off like one finger down, cut it at the bottom, and then you've got a tassel. You can sew it right on and it'll look beautiful. Diane submitted this Empire Cowl shawl. She said she's made this project at least 6 times. It's an asymmetrical garter stitch shawl, a 2-row pattern. This is an expanded version of the cowl, and she said it's great for using up odds and ends, and it's an amazing mindless project. We all like those. Margaret Briggs submitted this Shades of Pale shawl, and there's nothing pale about it. It's absolutely stunning, and she had the yarn for a long time before finding the right pattern. She loved the strong colors and geometric look of the finished project. It's a fast and easy project, but not boring, and she loves the finished edge. Lori Peterson submitted this Golden Barrel Cozy Moments shawl. She said she gets bored with plain stockinette stitch, and she loves different stitches. Well, this one does not disappoint. It's a gorgeous overall lace project, and you did a beautiful job on it, so well done. Here's Terry Mellway, and she submitted this project. It's her merino wool shawl. I don't know the name of it, but I love the cable on it, and I think you did a great job, and it looks gorgeous on you. Stephen Savant submitted this lace shawl, and he said he taught himself to knit for his own sanity, and this is the biggest project made so far. It's lace, other stitches, and a Kitchener stitch to join, and just getting into knitting, you tackled a lot, and truly a job well done. Nancy Riesterer submitted this shawl, and she said she loved knitting it because it was challenging to her, and it turned out so beautiful. In fact, she calls it her wall art shawl. She said she loves it so much that she wants to hang it up so that she can look at it all the time, or maybe even have it framed. Ava Maria Harthouse spotted this shawl, actually it's a poncho, last year at Vogue Knitting Live, and she said she normally doesn't knit ponchos, but it was so gorgeous that she had to make it, and she said she loved this project as her favorite project over the past year because it was so challenging to knit, and I hope you're wearing it a lot. It's absolutely stunning. Pamela Harris created this striped summer camp shawl, and she's made this thing 5 times, so it must be one she loves to make. Using Knit Circus yarn, she loves how the Knit Circus yarn feels in her fingers and the changes of color. It's really lovely. Kathy Gurule created this prayer shawl for her friend. She said her friend unfortunately was diagnosed with cancer again. She said it's her favorite project to knit because it brings so much comfort, and she's knitted a number of shawls like this for women in similar situations, and she said it brings her so much joy to see that they are comforted by the project. And that's really wonderful, Kathy. Catherine Taylor made this triangle shawl. She hadn't tried a triangle shawl before, and it's good to learn something new and satisfying to watch it grow, and I love that about triangle shawls too. Vanessa Bradley created the Andrea Mallory shawl you see here. She said it was a simple garter shawl with eyelets, and she used an alpaca yarn. She loved the softness of the yarn and the color changes, and it looks great on you. Now, Margaret Tucker submitted several gorgeous projects to me, and I had to just pick one, and I love that it has the cable detail running down just one side of the shawl. Beautiful. And we have this shawl by Jane Beitler. She calls it Katie's shawl. She said she dreamt of knitting this shawl for her daughter's wedding. She said it's the most complicated project she's ever knitted, but boy, it's stunning. I really love all of the submissions you've given me today. Thank you so much, and you will be seeing more of these roundup posts. I'll see you in this next video.